right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sage Demo Day. Very excited that you're here today joining us. Let me share my screen. You'll see a bunch of windows open, and I apologize because, that's how it is. And here we go. All right. You should see my presentation now. Let me know. How's that look? We good to go? All right. Well, welcome everyone. So excited that you're here for the Sage Solutions lineup. I am your host, Amy Keenan, founder of the ISV Society, and I bring these types of events to you so that you can see a wide variety of solutions in one mini virtual event. So as you can see, we have 8 different solutions today, 15 minutes each. So that's kind of like speed dating, except you're doing speed demos. And if you do have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and we will have our presenters answer them after they're done presenting, just so we can keep things moving. This session is being recorded, and yes, I will be sending out the recording email to all. And it will be probably sent around Thursday. So you'll have a chance to view some that you may have missed or share with others on your team, and just a great way to learn about all these different solutions. So with that, I am going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to hand the reins over to Eric at MetaViewer, who's going to kick off Sage Demo Day. Welcome, Eric. Are you ready?
I am. Thanks, Amy.
You're welcome.
Really excited to be here today. Just make sure I can share the right screen. Yeah, well,
it's not.
Oh, there we go.
Yep, okay, you're perfect. Good.
Wanted to make sure. So, MetaViewer and Sage is triggering spikes across all divisions. Really, it's all and everything nice. And so, MetaViewer is able to really transform your Sage ERP to give you that full automation of real-time AP, but also the document management side of it. So, really giving you the digital filing cabinet for all divisions, not just a solution for finance. Not wanting to bore everyone with PowerPoint, but just a few slides to just kind of break it down, and then we'll jump right into the demo. So how does the workflow work? Whether your documents are coming in via email, folder, you're just manually bringing one in at a time, right? We capture, and then it just goes through validating the PDF prep. I'm going to demonstrate that today. How often do you get invoices that come in a PDF? Then it's 4 or 5 invoices in one PDF, and you have to take it out and manually break it up and then bring it back in. The ability for that to come in, for the software to recognize, okay, there's 4 invoices here. Let's put that into 4 documents right away, because they're going to need to be GL coded differently. And then to do extract all that metadata, make sure we populate all the necessary search fields so you can query it later, and then validate the data what we've pulled, and let's send it in for coding and approvals. So that's the kind of the behind the scenes. Really, it's 4 steps though. You verify, you code, you approve, and then final review. We just think there's always nice to have that one set of human eyes on a document, even if everything else is autonomous, just the one set. Because when something goes in your ERP, that's not fun to try to pull it back out if you make a mistake. So, just gives you that little buffer. What's happening. Documents are coming in, whether it be electronic or paper. They go through the AI engine, and that's where all of the data is pulled out from. We validate it, we code it, or reconcile it if something was erroneous, and then we send it for approval. Once it gets to approval, right, it gets sent off into the ERP, and then payment can happen. Once payment happens, it cycles back to MetaViewer to let it know the cycle, the full circle has been completed, and now you have a full automation from right from the invoice to the payment. We spent 46 years focusing on all areas of business. We have definitely found in the 46 years, unbeknownst to us initially, that we've really become experts in the agriculture, farming, manufacturing, distribution, retail, wholesale. It's really just the mass production, constant invoice. The more invoices and the more complex, the better we are at really offering a solution. We can do the easy ones too, but we definitely enjoy wrapping our arms around the bigger ones. However, let's just jump into the demo and we will look at that in firsthand. So we are here. I was already logged into MetaViewer. I'm pretty sure it's going to have me log in again, but let's see. So the way MetaViewer works is that we're a role-based software. And so whether you're an AP clerk, AP manager, controller, right, an approver, so everyone's going to have a different role when they come in. And when they come in, therefore they're going to want to see the data displayed differently, right? As an AP clerk, and the way that I was brought up on this software, I like coming in, seeing all my folders open and understanding, okay, I know where to go. Red means like, pay attention to me, but I spend my days always in the AP prep world. That's where I'm going to start my day today. I've come in, I see there's 48 documents. Some are overdue, some are unknown, but that's just because they didn't have a due date put in. We have our POs and our non-POs that have been brought into the system, right? So there's a PO, it's here. Those are a little bit simpler. It comes in, we do our three-way match. As long as the PO, the invoice, and the receipt all equal, then we can push that forward. And if they don't, then we just can push part of the payment and leave the rest of it open. So again, this is where the PO comes in. We already verified all the data that came across. This is all your metadata. And then here you have on the right hand side, you have all your notes. This is all your journal tags from the auditor who come in, right? They're bound to be there. And words that start with A should be like awesome, not awful. And so with audits, we wanted to bring it on the awesome side of that. And so if we offer a solution for them to come in, have a full, reference point of every step that's happened with this invoice, it just makes your job that much easier. And you don't have to keep, trying to find it in a filing cabinet or wherever it may be stored. So we come in, we see that data receivers has come in, looks like they're buying some lamps. You just check to make sure that all your data is proper, the dollar values are equaling each other. Anything here that has a magnifying glass, that's where the AI is pulling the data from the invoice. Anything else that is filled in, right? So for example, vendor number, right? That's because the AI engine recognized this invoice as being data and receivers. It goes out to the thumbprint that's in Sage, recognizes from that vendor card data and receivers to this invoice, and then it knows now your vendor number, etc. So when you go through, you can see, oh, okay, everything's good. So you can go to code and reconcile. You bring it into code and reconcile, make sure that all the values are proper. So we picked up the lines. It looks like it has the right quantities. Everything's been accounted for. So it's reconciled. And there you go. Now it gets shipped off and you go to your next document. The nice part about that is, it's a PO, it's already been approved. You don't need to approve it again. So why go through that step? But for the non-PO invoices, right, there is a whole other piece that comes with AP automation. So why don't we jump out and look? Here we go. So here, this is a non-PO invoice. We come through, we see this one's coming in from Rain Projectors. There's a large purchase of many items. You're wondering, okay, there's no total here, but we've picked up a total. So you look up and you notice there's 2 pages. Jump on over to the second page. Oh, that's a bit big. But as the nice part about MetaViewer is, as you get older, like I'm getting, you can just adjust the zoom in magnification and be able to see your numbers a little bit easier. So we come in here, see it's 77. It's picked up the freight at 3,500. Some areas, regardless of how the invoice looks, it's a 99.9% accuracy when it comes to our OCR capabilities. My boss doesn't let me say 100% because I guess there's liability if I start spouting it that we're perfect when it comes to the OCR, and really nothing is. There's always a glitch, every once in a blue moon, but we come in and we're like, yeah, that looks good. Let's go to code and reconcile it. And this is where now you are able to come down, make sure that it's going into the right account, right? Like this is a lot of different things. So you can come by and do it line by line. If you know that all of this is going in to a general expense account, you can send it there. So let's look at what this may be. I think that, when we're talking about paper, rulers, thingies, because I made this one up myself, that we just needed to put, this is probably a miscellaneous expense when you add it all together. You bring it together, miscellaneous, everything equals, and you just said coded, and then this is where you can add your approvers in. I'm trying to go fast so that I can get you back on track at the 115 mark here. But, from here now, we'll add an approver. So we're going to send it to the manager, send it for approval. And it just brings you to the next document. Documents come in, they go to the bottom of the rung. That way, the ones that have been in there the longest are always the ones that are coming up. Now let's sign in as Julie. She's our AP clerk. And now we're going to sign in as Kathy, who's our AP manager. When we sign back in, now you see it's a different interface. Julie, again, coming up as the AP clerk, she's just used to seeing that, the text and the numbers. Kathy, she doesn't spend as much time here. She likes to come in, get the visual, understand what's happening. Is there anything that requires immediate action, like over 10 days? Probably action that. And then goes, and then can go on with her day. Let's hop in. Let's see. Here's rain projectors, right? Coming at 77,000. It comes in. She's the one that she can add an approver. She's like, oh, that's pretty high. Maybe I need to add someone to it. Or she can just, she can say, okay, looks like everything's accounted for here. The dollar value is right. She checks over here. There's no notes in the journal tag. Let's just see if anyone just wrote a note. Nope. If maybe she wants to add a note just so it's there going forward. Great demo today, Amy. You want to make sure whatever you write there, though, that you keep it, business professional, because it is now there for life. And so, that's not the place for any inside jokes or any kind of commentary that way. So we add that. Looks like everything's good. We're going to approve it. Double check to make sure you don't have a fast finger. And that's it. The one last piece that we will show just to wrap it up today, again, trying to help stay on track. And it's just too easy to want to show everything when you get there feeling the buzz here in the ISV Society. Is what I was talking about, PDF prep. So let's come down to, that's not the one. Here we go. This one, we have a document that comes in. And again, now this is all going to happen automatically, but if I did that, then I wouldn't have much to demo. So I'm going to show you the manual, how we do this manually to understand what's happening. But you come in, you see that it picks up Fabricam. However, in picking up Fabricam, you kind of notice that it seems to have a bit of not really adding up. You see like there's different PO references and invoice numbers. And when you look up, that's not the invoice number. But then you see there's 7 pages. And you see there's 7 pages up here. Like, oh, so what's going on? Well, you click through, oh, there's 7 different invoices. Okay, well, I don't want to have to start over. You just come up to requires PDF splitting. No different than you would do it in Adobe. Again, this all happens automated, but just for the purpose of the demo, I could provide those. Oh, let's keep those 2 the same because maybe they're actually meant to be this, it's the same invoice, just a longer page. And you go split it, and now that's going to turn that one document into 6. And then you can go and make sure those 6 documents go to the right GL code, the right division, and into the right expense bucket. So with that, we've seen the approval. We've seen what happens when you get too many documents at one time. And then the one final piece is that the approval, it just goes back to final review. Just to make sure there's that human element before you put that into your ERP. Here we go, the 77,000 still there. Everything's good. Oh, right, great demo today, Amy. Thank you very much. We're good. Let's export that off to Sage now. And with that, everyone sends off and it brings us back to the next one. Oh. Where's my... If you're looking to leverage your investment, please reach out. I'd love to talk to you about how MetaViewer and Sage can make your everyday all the things sugar and spice and everything nice. My name's Eric Yooz. It's been an absolute pleasure to be able to talk to everyone today. Look forward to hearing from you soon. And have a great long weekend for those in the US coming up next weekend. And for my Canadian friends, hope you're feeling a little bit better than I am on this Tuesday. Cheers.
Thanks, Eric. Didn't you have a holiday yesterday?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I thought so. All right. If you do have any questions, just remember to put them in the chat, please, so we can answer them there. Next up, we have Enlin from Solver. Are you ready, Enlin?
Yes. All right. Is it coming up? Oh, yep. Sorry, forgot
That's
to
okay.
hit
That's okay.
the share button down here.
You're good.
I'm good. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Enlin Zhang, Senior Solution Engineer here with Solver. Today, I'm presenting Elevate Your Sage ERP Investment with Solver's AI Accelerated FP&A tool. So first, what is Solver? Solver is an AI accelerated extended financial planning platform, analysis platform. It increases access to actionable insight beyond the finance department. And the extended means that offering a solution beyond just finance into areas like sales, marketing, operations, HR, and beyond. Solver X FP&A solution includes everything that you see here on the wheel on the left. It's planning, budgeting, forecasting, workflow. It includes reporting like financial reporting, reporting packages from multiple data sources. Obviously, ERP, like any Sage ERP, like Intacct, other Sage ERP, can be plugged into directly to Solver, but also non-ERP data sources like your CRM, HubSpot, or Salesforce, payroll data like headcount, or any other operational data that are in other databases can be included in Solver and then be part of your reporting packages. Moving along the wheel here, next is analysis. Think rich dashboard, KPIs that takes your data and turns it into insights by helping you answer questions that you didn't even know you might have. So when you see your data represented visually rather than just in a traditional data format, insights will pop out at you and helps accelerate more intelligent decisions. And finally, on the left of this wheel here, Solver is a powerful consolidation tool, bringing together, say, multiple companies, multiple entities, or multi-currency, or even multiple ERPs, allowing you have access to all of your history while being able to refresh your latest data. Okay. Moving on to the next slide here, a challenge that many businesses have. They don't have a single source of truth, which slows down decision making, which doesn't bring enough transparency and visibility into the business. They don't have insights. Or even if they have a good set of reports, it's a burdensome manual process that are prone to error, and it takes a long time to refresh. And finally, that typically they heavily rely on their finance or accounting team, and it's all done in Excel, and it lacks real-time updates. So 45% of the team tend to spend their time, finance team tend to spend their time in activities like data collection or validation. And the number one FP&A challenge is lack of trusted data and in a single source of truth. Okay, and this is where if you could imagine with me, if you have a specialist in every area of your FP&A, that would be your dream, right? Some of them gathering data, organizing the information, analyzing the results. Then they can make some forecasts, develop recommendations, help us build some model, get some what if analysis, finally surface the findings, generate reports. If we have all of that help, how do you think that will help you and your team make faster and more intelligent decisions? It'll probably give you a lot of value. And you would agree that it gives you more time to focus on higher value tasks rather than the manual ones. This is where Solver offers a solution. Solver was built to offer a solution around data. We're connecting it to multiple sources of data on the left here. Again, Sage ERP is one of the data source that we can connect to, or any other data sources that you can think of. Then we consolidate them into a single source of truth. Then you have all the functionality that supports that you can bring out the data from, planning, reporting, consolidation. All the users on the right interact with this data set to via a web browser. They can directly consume the reports from a web browser. They can input their budgets, leverage Solver Copilot to give them their insights. These reports that they consume are designed by a power user in Excel using the Solver Designer add-in. So you don't have to learn another language. You can use Excel formulas that you love and you're familiar with, and your reports will just work. And the difference is that these templates are not just living on someone's email attachment or a share folder. This is all living in Solver's product itself and Solver's data warehouse in the one version of the truth. Okay, so now I'm going to give you a quick demo of Solver. I'm logged into Solver on my Chrome browser here. I'm going to go over a report example. In this report, this is what we called a monthly reporting package. Up above here, we have report parameters that you can run various parameters on. Again, these are some of the data sources where once you bring them in, you can run various segment of this report, including entity, department, what budget scenario you want to compare it to. For today's presentation, I'm going to focus on this consolidated P&L tab. In this specific tab, what we have shown here is in the columns, you have your current period, your last period, or your budget was. You have your variance compared to last year, variance compared to budget as well. In the rows, you have revenue, cost of sales, all the way down to net income. So this gives a comprehensive insight to a business on their financials, right? So in this view, not only can I directly go into some of these drill down and see what the sub-accounts are made up of, I can also leverage Solver's Copilot AI to dig in and scan some of the anomalies that I might have. So if you were to walk into a board meeting and you're looking to present, what is my finding? What was my result this month? What insight are you going to go into that meeting with, right? I can start asking this report that lives in your Solver instance some basic questions, right? So some of the first basic question that I can ask, and I have the command already ready to go here. Like for example, what is my top revenue contributor? I can ask Solver Copilot AI here. It's going to give me that insight right here. So rather than you scanning manually, digging through various reports and columns to get this insight, this already presented that to you right away. And then you can ask some more complex questions. So let's say I'm asking a question like, what is the biggest increase in revenue actual versus last year, right? This is typically something that you will want to know where's your biggest revenue driver, how does it compare to last year? Rather than scan you manually, again, Solver Copilot will give you this right away, okay? Now, if I'm walking into a board meeting And I'm looking at this report thinking, hey, I really need more than just two simple questions. I can ask a question that's more complex, like, hey, as a world-class CFO reviewing this P&L report, identify the top three anomalies, value, trends, or relationships that appears unusual or inconsistent for each anomaly, explain why it stands out, and then what might be causing it. So not only are you understanding the why, but also what's causing it, the root cause, and then make a recommendation around one area that deserves deeper investigation. So again, this will start scanning through this report that you have here, all using your existing data and your existing reports to help you surface that insight. So I'll just give this a minute here for it to run. There you go. So now you can see this breaks down the top three anomalies in the P&L. What are the three areas here? What are the observation, why it stands out, and the possible causes. So now you can take this to your board meeting and really walk into that board meeting with better insight. Again, with AI, always treat it as your first year financial analyst and validate your data. So I'm coming back over to my slide here. Yeah, so Solver built out, Solver has expertise in various industry. And not only have we worked with, we are industry agnostic, but we have worked with lots of industries to build out a suite of solutions that are industry specific. So here are some examples of those pre-built industry templates or reports that we might have. We have manufacturing templates that are focused on, production costs, forecasting. We have nonprofit templates that are very focused on specific nonprofit reporting, like grant reportings and areas that are specific to those, to the nonprofit vertical. Okay. And then finally, I want to leave you with a 6 trends to watch in 2026. Definitely, if you're interested in learning more about solvers and what trends we should watch in the FP&A world in 2026, feel free to scan the QR code here or reach out to our team or me to learn more about solver.
Thank you so much, Enlin.
Yeah, thank you.
Love how you incorporate Copilot.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have Daniel from commercebuild. Daniel, are you ready?
I'm always ready.
Your perfect moment starts now.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Well, everybody, I appreciate the time that you're going to take to listen to me ramble just a little bit, but hopefully you'll be inspired by the demonstration that I'll show you as well. So my name is Daniel Saunders. I've got about 20 years in IT, mainly security compliance, also in e-commerce. If you want to connect, that QR code goes directly over to my LinkedIn page. Happy to talk shop, figure out what you're doing in your business today and how we can turn that digital strategy into an actual thing instead of some fantasy up in the cloud that everybody waits on and stuff. So who is commercebuild? So commercebuild, we are an ERP first platform. We're a Sage Tech Partner Plus. We've been in the Sage ecosystem for 2 decades. Today, we fully integrate into Sage 300, Sage X3, and Sage Intacct, covering a wide span of verticals. We are a global team, which means that we offer global support and offer companies around the world a chance to be able to take that ERP e-commerce first approach. Our support team is wonderful. We understand fundamentally all the Sage products that we support, which gives us a response time of under an hour, which means the resolution to whatever is happening, we get there way faster than anybody else. We're also a one-stop shop. That means we're going to design, connect, build, and also support your entire ecosystem when it comes to e-commerce. Our product suite we go wide and far, and there's a lot of acronyms out there. So in case I didn't mention the acronym, just hey, reach out and ask if we actually support that. But obviously, I mentioned we do ERP integrated e-commerce. We offer a hybrid B2B, B2C connected web store. We can do that in a multitude of different ways. If you like to separate your web stores, no problem. If you want one single web store where everything is controlled by a login, absolutely not a problem at all. We offer B2B customer portals if you're not looking for the entire e-commerce experience, or maybe you're just looking for a tool that your salespeople can use while they're out on the road, and that's our sales portal there. For you more advanced individuals out there or corporations that are looking to expand far and wide and have a lot of different systems that all need to kind of co-function together, we offer our headless engine to kind of bring all that together in a nice unison in that. So this is what I like to call our circle of trust. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, Meet the Parents, but we treat Sage as the center of the universe, and that is really what we trust because they offer everything that you really need to run your business. That's why you chose Sage, right? They offer the complex pricing formulas that you've created for thousands of your customers, very sensitive customer data, the business logic. Maybe you use a CPQ and configurator. We also extend that out to all the inventory and the multiple warehouses that you may have from a global setting. And then obviously the team that really gets me fired up, which is your sales team. And then you've got us that kind of fit right into that wheel, that circle of trust, is just like a clock does, right? And that's where commercebuild kind of fits in. So we're going to be able to display and utilize and have your customers interact with all that data that you spent with your business partner, curating, expanding, really wanting to expose that to really enhance your sales and business operations. So why don't we dive into a quick demo really quick? And then that way you guys can kind of get a little taste of what's going on with this. Now you should be able to see my screen here. It's going to say your perfect moment, your one-stop coffee e-commerce shop. I work on this in the mornings. You're going to laugh at that because this is literally what I think of in the morning is coffee and food, because that's wonderful there. So if you look here, I'm a regular guest. It's kind of a B2C moment here. I actually turned off the B2C moment because typically in the B2C, if you went to Best Buy or Amazon, you'd see pricing here at the bottom. So I wanted to showcase just a website that is really gated to where you can see some products, you see some categories, but you don't get the full breadth of the B2B experience until you actually log in. So let's go ahead and log into the site really quick. You're going to notice a few things change. So if you look over here in the upper left-hand corner, well, of course it always does that with Zoom, but hey, look, we're right back in, we're logged in, it knows who I am. It knows the company that I'm associated with. Now, I'm a super admin, so treat me as like your sales team, right? So I've got access and additional things that maybe your end users won't have, like the switch customer button. So if I quickly look down here, I've got some pricing that's shown up. If you noticed a minute ago as a B2C guest user, you didn't see any pricing, but because I'm now a registered user, it went back into my Sage ERP, looked up what company I'm associated with, pulled out all the products that I'm able to purchase at the buying points and options that I'm able to purchase at. You get these prices down here, 772, 841, 523. We've got different units here with 1620 and 78. Let's go ahead and switch that customer because maybe your sales rep is completed with their downtown coffee visit. And maybe they want to go visit the car factory company. That's next on their list to go visit. Well, here I can easily change that, and now I've got different pricing. If you remember, this was over $16, but now this pricing list is simplified at $883. So again, this is just a window into your Sage ERP system from a digital aspect where it's accessible, where some people has access, but not true access into your Sage ERP environment. Now, from here, we get a lot of different features, a lot of different things that we can do. Some people talk to me and say, Daniel, my customers will never utilize a full catalog. They know what they want, they know how to purchase, and they just want to be able to get in there and get out because they've got a business to run. And for them, I say, that's why we have our quick order form here. Super easy for us to just start typing in the name of a product. They don't have to know the full gambit of the product, maybe, a piece of the product description. Okay, so here I've added a coffee bag here. Well, I don't need just one. I need the whole bag of 48. So here we've got different units of measure. You can see it's very dynamic. Went from a $7 price point because now we've got 48 in that case. It's going to move on up to $380. Okay, well, I need a coffee machine to kind of do that with. Well, let's add this Keurig machine. I get it. It's not going to work with the bag of coffee. But hey, now I've got the matte black here. And you know what? I need 3 of those. We see the price at $119.99. Let's go ahead and change that price to 3. And then now, because I've got that special pricing based off the quantities that I purchased, when I add 3 in there, it moves down to $104.99. You know what? I need 5. Let's go ahead and add 5 to that. Let's get a better discount down to $94.99. So that's a very quick way to add items right here that you need to purchase for your business. We can click the button, proceed directly over into the cart. And then from there, we're going to be able to peek into the Sage ecosystem inside your ERP. They're going to be able to pull over whatever addresses that are already inside. So a customer doesn't have to retype if they don't like. But if they want to create a new delivery address, not a problem as well, too. Let's go ahead and pick my Texas address here, where it's starting to heat up here. Let's choose FedEx Standard, but if you want to do dynamic price shipping and stuff, we actually read all of the dimensions and weights coming from your Sage ERP system, and we can deliver a dynamic ERP shipping price here. Now, maybe you want to extend that price just as your account allows it, or maybe you want to add 5%. Maybe you want to just do a flat rate shipping, not a problem at all. We're also dynamic aware. So if you're shipping things like batteries and things like that obviously have to go ground, you can't ship them in the air, we're going to know that in the cart. And whatever options are not available because they're not compliant, those options are going to disappear and a customer will not be able to choose that particular option. Just a safeguard so we make sure that your customer experience is from beginning to end super flawless. So from here in a B2B setting, we can go ahead and add our purchase order number. If you want to add some wonderful order comments, we're going to pass that over to the invoice as well. Maybe you've got a promotional code that you want to extend to your customer. Again, we are a full e-commerce shop, super easy for us to deliver whatever type of promotion you want. One-time promotion, many-time promotion, 5-time promotion. This code's only good for this customer. This code's only good for this set of customers. Again, it's all very customizable and configurable to really deliver your unique experience to your end user. Let's go ahead and continue over here. I've got a couple of different options here, but what we're really doing is reading what terms you've got set up for your client. So in this case, I've got kind of both set up on account and on credit card. But if you only want your customer that's on terms to be able to check out on terms, then the credit card feature actually wouldn't show up. We're looking at all of the actual balances as well too. So if this order is going to put them over their balance, a couple things we can do. We could have a pop-up come up that says, hey, you're about to reach out your balance. We'll let you go ahead and check out, but the order will come in on hold. Please reconcile some of those invoices or reach out to your sales rep. Let's go ahead and place this order here because I've got an unlimited amount of budget that I've got in my demo store. So I can just place orders because they'll never be fulfilled. But here we've got an order. It's processing here. It's got everything that I need to. It's even got my 20% discount that it's located here. Let's cruise on here. So now I've been able to easily find the products, added them to my cart, checked out on my terms. Now I just want to cruise on over here and check out my customer portal. Well, what orders are on the way? What orders are stalled? What orders are open? I just did a real-time synchronization inside to the ERP. Now I've got that new order here. It's in open status. I'm a horrible ERP person because all of my statuses are open in my demo portal. However, whatever status that you have inside of whatever pick, pack, and pull type of flows that you've got, we're going to follow that. So whatever statuses that you would like to show on the order portal, not a problem. Easy for us to do. This order section here also all configurable. You can either show or not show certain things. We go over that with you during the implementation of that. We even have this open edit order feature. Not all of our customers choose to use that. I show it because we have a cool bakery customer that allows all their hotels to kind of build their order up over time, and they're able to edit that order, and then it automatically flows into the ERP on the selected date. Now, customer placed their order, customer is able to track their order, they receive their order from a shipment standpoint, and Whenever they get that, then they got this great little hyperlink here, takes them right to the carrier, just as if you were shopping on Amazon yourself. You can see a picture of my old door. FedEx ruined a delivery to me, so I promise I'd always show that they ruined my delivery and stuff. But cool, so you got your item, and now the 30, 60, 90 terms is coming up. It's time to pay the piper and go ahead and pay that open invoice. We offer all of that, so we can offer pay with an open credit card, or you can pay with your account via ACH, or if you're up in Canada, EFT, not a problem at all. Just as simple as clicking a button right here to add the invoice that you'd like to take care of. Again, we have a lot of filtering options, pay all the open due invoices, pay the ones over here. You can even partial pay in that sense, but super easy here. We're going to pay with a card. Let's go ahead and put my fake credit card number in. Pay no attention to the other credit cards that I've used because I spend a lot of money on wasteless things. And I'll go ahead and pop all that in. You can save it. You can send it over to someone else. Again, tons of options, tons of features for us to do. And there we've got a successful payment that's going right back into Sage. So we've got the full gambit of customer ordering and then customer actually paying the open invoice. Now, those are very simple products, very easy things to do. We also do very complex projects as well. So this is a site, it's public facing. I'm not showing you anything that's top secret. In fact, I'm not even logged in, as you can see up here as a guest, but this is a current customer of ours, and they do a lot of manufacturing of fence building, which can be very custom. So I just wanted to kind of show a little bit about some of the things that we can do from a manufacturing standpoint. So here I've selected all the runs. I can really dive into the details of creating a fence, whether it's by meters or feet, however you guys want. I got all these different options to choose from. You know, I don't know anything about fence building, but I've got a lot of options here to choose from. I've even got a cool little 3D model that if I wanted to take a look at, I can. I can zoom in, I can zoom out again. This is just something that we can actually do. I mean, you're like, Daniel, that's way too complicated. What we have is, you know, we sell bicycles or shirts and stuff that's got multi options. And the worst thing that we can do is actually deliver a products page and have 50 products of the same thing, but just different sizes, different colors, different things of that nature. Well, for us, we can take a simple product SKU and we can condense that down to a single page and then create many different types of options for you to get to the actual price and SKU that you're looking for. So in this particular case, I'm going to select a city bike. Let's make it white. Let's make it aluminum, unisex. Let's make it for commuting. Let's choose that 2026 model. And now all of a sudden, I've got an exact price. Now I've got an exact SKU. Super easy. I've narrowed it down and I didn't have to go through all the wonders of looking for, is this product mine? Is this going to fit me? Is this going to do what I need it to do and stuff? So again, super easy for us. And to put the cherry on top, let's see if I can get this to work. This will be super fun for us. But everybody, we live in 2026. I don't know about you, but everybody that I know uses their cell phone to do something. And it isn't just to buy things or go to the app and go to Facebook, but every site that we actually make is mobile aware. And even on an iPad, even on different devices, again, super easy for you to come in here, log in, and then it's going to log right into your exact account. In a previous life, I worked too much and I worked in a field where I had to make a lot of orders for the next day, but I always ran out of time. This would have saved me a lot because I could have just sat on my couch after it and went back to the same cart that I had already created and finished building it, and then really go ahead and accelerate my business at that sense. So really appreciate you guys having this conversation with me, allowing me to present commercebuild. And please, if you have any questions, please reach out. Happy to go over your unique business case. Thanks so much.
Thank you. That was great. All right, Alex, it's a moment of truth. Let's see. You're muted, by the way. Yay!
Can you hear me and can you see my screen?
Yes and yes. Double
Perfect.
yes. Woohoo!
Perfect.
All right,
It just
we have
turns out I
Yooz
had
up
to
next.
create an account. So thank you for having me. My name is Alex Freeman. I'm a senior account executive here at Yooz. And I focus on helping finance teams, particularly those on Sage, understand what modern AP automation can do for them. And the challenges I hear are remarkably consistent. Too much manual work, too little visibility, and a growing concern around fraud. And that's what today is about. So to give you a brief overview, Yooz was born in the cloud back in 2010, and we've grown to be a truly global company. Today, we operate in more than 40 countries, supporting over 7,000 clients and over 200,000 legal entities between them, with more than 600,000 daily users. Now, we've processed hundreds of millions of documents, but I think what really sets us apart is our commitment to innovation. And so every year we invest 25% of our income into R&D, and our team of 15 PhDs have authored over 100 published scientific articles surrounding AI and machine learning. And I think that investment has given us one of the most advanced AI-driven platforms in finance automation that's built around a very simple mission: accelerate growth, fight waste, and defeat fraud. And we call this approach lean financial operations, and it's built on 5 principles: attacking waste, delivering end-to-end process transparency, providing a return on financial operations, achieving process perfection, meaning the ability to adapt as needed, and to give CFOs total visibility. Now, when you think about what finance leadership wants, growth, efficiency, and fraud prevention, this framework delivers exactly that. Now, for Sage users, Yooz delivers across 3 dimensions. First is fit. We have unlimited users, multi-entity support, an intuitive UI, and a seamless native sync with Sage. Second, it's fast. Our proprietary AI extracts invoice data automatically, line-level PO matching runs without human intervention, and smart workflows get approvals to the right people without sitting in an inbox. And third, it's fraud-proof. Yooz Protect actively detects and prevents fraud, backed by full audit trails, confidentiality levels, and 360-degree monitoring. We like to say AI plus automation plus visibility. That's lean financial operations. Now, AP waste hides in the everyday: manual data entry, email-based workflows, approval delays, duplicate entry across systems, lost invoices, paper checks, manual vendor reconciliation, and the cost of fraud. And these aren't just edge cases, they're what's slowing your team down right now. And when processes are manual and visibility is low, fraud has room to slip through, and Yooz closes every one of those gaps. Now, this slide gives you the 30,000-foot view from purchase all the way through to export. Every step is automated and fully scalable. So it starts with purchase, whether that's purchase requisitions, their subsequent POs and goods receipts. Yooz can create and approve them using workflows, or we can import directly from your Sage instance to help facilitate that automated 2- and 3-way match. Then there's capture. So we can consume invoices really from any channel, whether that's email, mobile, scan, drag and drop, e-invoicing for any EMEA operations, SFTP, API, EDIs, et cetera. And we can even pull invoices from vendor portals automatically. And really, no matter the format, our AI is able to extract the data accurately and quickly. The next comes the review, or the traditional AP specialist role. And here we're automating GL coding with dynamic allocations, performing 2- and 3-way PO matching, and reconciling vendor statements. And then from there, invoices are moving into approval, and we support smart workflows, whether that's based on department, cost, vendors, custom fields from Sage, a combination thereof, to line level approvals, parallel routing, or even escalation logic. Approvals are going to stop getting stuck in your inboxes. For payments, we handle that through Yooz Pay, our integrated payment automation solution. So we can do virtual card, ACH, and of course, paper checks. It's all automated, all tracked in real time with fraud risks actively contained. And finally, there's export, where we push the data back into Sage, create the bill automatically, and attach the invoice along with its full audit and comment history. And if you're not leveraging Yooz Pay, then it's teed up for payment and you can take it from there. Now, wrapped around the whole process is the Yooz portal. And this is where vendors can join, submit invoices digitally, and track their status. And then at the very bottom, you can see the additional value we layer on: budget tracking, archiving, search, monitoring, optimization, audit, reconciliation and security. So when we say maximum automation, this is what it looks like: a straight through scalable process with no wasted effort and full visibility along the way. Now let's look at how Yooz and Sage Intacct work together. So it starts with a deep bidirectional sync. Yooz pulls in your chart of accounts, vendors, customers, departments, dimensions, employees, POs, projects, tax profiles, custom fields, allocations, and much more. Really everything your team needs to code accurately from day one. From there, the flow is seamless. So an invoice comes through any one of the channels. Our AI captures and indexes it. Then it moves through review, approval, and even payment workflows. Once approved, a bill is automatically created in Sage Intacct. Payment is then approved and released directly and used through Yooz Pay. And the moment that payment is confirmed, it's automatically flipped to paid within Intacct. So there's no duplicate entry, no manual reconciliation. It's one connected automated process from invoice receipt to a paid record. So let's hop into the application and take a look there. So I'm logged in currently as Andy Accountant, who is one of our AP users. Now, regardless of your role, whether you're an AP specialist or an approver, 99% of your time is going to be in this My Task workspace or dashboard. And we can see it's filled with a series of components. And the size, order, and visibility of these components is configurable at an end user level to make moving through Yooz most efficient for the person. So we have late, complete, and blocked, and my to-do and in progress components are expanded. Now, when expanded, I'm afforded additional functionality, so I can select the columns and data that are presented to me, so I can get quick insight into what I need to be working on. We can see that in my to-do component, I have 7 total documents to process, all contained within my legal entity Yooz US, USA demo, and distributed across 3 different document types. Now, my in progress section is going to be everything that I've touched, submitted, and it's waiting on the next step for whichever workflow that it took. So I'll always have line of sight into that. I can see that many of my invoices are sitting in approval with Amelia, and then a couple of them are sitting in approved payment with Paige. So if I want to start processing something, I'll start with this PO backed invoice. All I need to do is select the document type and then select the invoice itself, and I'll be brought into the invoice workspace where we have 3 different components as well. We'll have the header form fields on the left-hand side, which are configurable if you have any nuance to your required fields. We have the invoice image on the right, and as I hover over items on the invoice, you can see the data sets that we created. And we can leverage these data sets in a few different ways. Primarily, we're using them to populate information in your required header fields, information in the coding when it's relevant, and primarily that's for non-PO backed invoices. We can use them in workflow logic as well as in searches and reports. Now, this particular invoice, we've matched 2 purchase orders to it. So we have the functionality to match multiple POs to one invoice or multiple invoices to one PO, which is pretty standard for a partial reception type of scenario. Now, as I hover over the PO lines here, you can see that we've aligned it with that of the invoice line. And as I scroll through, it'll bring my attention to that particular line on the invoice, and the same works going the other direction. Now, we can see that we have some exceptions here. And so I don't need to hunt through and sort of cross-compare to figure out what's going wrong. I can just select this down arrow, and it's going to surface my first exception. And what we're doing is comparing the PO quantity and the PO unit price with the invoice quantity and the invoice unit price. So here we can see that we received 20, but we only have 16 there. And our mascot is a flamingo. So it's requesting or suggesting to you that you can replace this value with 16. And one cool thing that I should note that's with Sage specifically is that we can pull in the requisitioner and route this automatically to them should there be any sort of exceptions. And we can set up no-touch workflows if no exceptions are encountered, because typically the approval process is front-loaded during the requisition phase. So I can resolve that by clicking the flamingo, and then I just select this down arrow again. It's going to bring me to my next exception. In this case, the unit price is different. It's 20 on the PO, but 24 on the invoice. Now, in relation to this, we can also set up variances or rules that, if it falls within 5% of the PO cost, then it's fine. It just goes through. And at that point, we won't need to flag it as an exception for you. Now, one thing I want to talk about is fraud prevention. Most AP firms on the market today are lacking quite a bit in respect to fraud, and it typically stops at duplicate detection. Now, duplicate detection is our first layer. So if we do detect a duplicate, we'll link you to the document already residing within Yooz. And in this case, we can see that they just reused a previous invoice number. If this was the only thing that was wrong with this invoice, then I could shoot the vendor an email, attach that invoice, let them know that they need to resubmit with a unique one, and then just delete it out of my queue and wait for that new invoice to come in. Now, the next layer in our fraud prevention is doing an atypical amount analysis between this vendor's invoice and to this legal entity and all of the invoices we've ever received from them. If we receive something that's out of the norm, we're going to flag it, and you're not able to process it until you physically click ignore the rule. Now, the next layer that we are doing is an analysis between the vendor profile within Sage and the contents of the invoice itself. So we have noticed that there are no banking information or credentials within the vendor profile, but we do have bank accounts on the invoice itself, which is pretty atypical. Now, our last layer has to do with PDF specifically, and we're doing a steganography analysis. So if you're not aware, when a PDF is created, it's done so in layers. And if I edit the PDF after the fact, I'm going to compress the layers in the areas in which I edited. And this works even if you save that PDF as a wholly new document. And so RAI is able to, point out where that compression exists, but then also be able to define what type of data was modified. And when all of this works together, Yooz Protect provides a much better barrier to fraud than what's been available on the market today. And I see the time, so I'll move quickly. The last thing I want to touch on is for vendor statement reconciliation. You can throw your vendor statement in Yooz. We'll go line by line. I accidentally hit the refresh button on my keyboard instead of what I wanted to, so I apologize. Let me hop back in. We'll go line by line, tell you the, compare with the invoice already residing within Yooz, let you know if the total amounts align or not, whether or not that matches, if it's still in progress, what step is it in, and whether or not that's been paid. So I can pull all my mismatches to the top and resolve it very quickly. Now I have two more things. I want to log in as Amelia just to show you that her workspace looks exactly the same. No matter your role, you're going to move and function within Yooz in the same way, which makes change management incredibly easy and a much higher probability for success, as well as providing a greater resource pool internally for any questions or anything like that. And lastly, just very quickly, I want to show you what it looks like when we push the data back into Intact and create the bill for you. So you'll see that we push the invoice image into Intact. We'll append it with any comment history, the audit history, and then any attachments that you added into the Yooz application throughout the life of its processing. Additionally, this will be accessible to download from your Intact instance, and then we'll provide a link back to Yooz. Beyond that, all of the dimensions and everything will mirror as you have it in your Intact instance. For any Intact CRE users, we can accommodate all of the construction specific nuances like retainage, etc. But it looks like I'm right on time, so I appreciate it. If you have any questions, please, let Amy know so those can get to us, and we'll be happy to have a deeper conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex. So glad everything worked.
Yeah, me too.
All right, Teddy, are you ready? And we are halfway through demo day already. 4 down, 4 to go. So our Sage Solutions lineup just keeps going.
Perfect. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. And can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Awesome. So, welcome everyone to our session today and how we're enabling Sage users with AI agents and automated insights to take action throughout your day in an automated fashion. My name is Teddy Patizan, Director of Account Management here at ConverSight, and I'm going to be walking you through our platform today. Here at ConverSight, we provide an agentic AI and unified decision intelligence platform built specifically to sit on top of an ERP system like Sage. So what makes us really different is we're combining AI, analytics, and operational decision making all into one single platform. So instead of teams pulling, reports for hours, exporting it to Excel, and trying to figure out what happened, Athena, our AI agent, is actually going to deliver instant answers, insights, and recommend actions directly from your Sage data. And we work across all sectors of the business. So finance, sales, inventory, supply chain, really to help organizations move from a reactive analytics procedure to more of a proactive decision-making model. So with that, the key thing to understand is that we're not just another dashboarding tool or chatbot. Our focus is on helping teams make faster, smarter operational decisions through AI agents that are, actually embedded into their workflow. So what we're consistently seeing with the Sage clients is that ERP data is so incredibly powerful operationally, but a lot of organizations struggle to get visibility into the decision making. So, when you look at a lot of different teams, they're pulling Excel, data siloed, and by the time they get it, usually it's outdated. So this creates a lot of major challenges and, inventory blind spots, stock issues, slow manual reporting processes, even difficulty forecasting. And ultimately, most of these teams spend more time gathering data than actually going and acting on it. So that's where ConverSight's going to come in. And we're going to provide a conversational AI layer and predictive analytics engine on top of Sage, really allowing users to get instant understandings of what's happening, why it's happening, what's most important, and what actions to take next. So with that being said, I'd like to really just quickly show you the ConverSight platform. And, at the end of the day, when you walk in, right as you come in, you have Athena here. You can ask her questions. She's your AI agent and really giving you the ability to expand into your data and understand what's going on. In addition, you have your AI workforce here. So multiple AI agents working with you based on the specific location that you need to, whether that's planning your supply, understanding your forecast, or other aspects of your business. Something I also wanted to mention as well is the executive pulse. This is really bubbling up per persona in an AI manner where it's understanding what that persona is looking at most throughout their day, bubbling it up to tell them, hey, you need to take action here. And it's giving you some additional steps that maybe can help you take those actions. So it's not just telling you the data and having you figure out the next steps. It's actually helping you massage through the data and understand, all right, I have a critical profit risk. What do I need to do? Well, here's all the data to explain it, but I maybe need to conduct an immediate job level, margin audit, reset the pricing model, and kind of go from there. So ultimately, these are going to bubble up daily to give you those insights. And on top of that, we have some additional automated insights that are going to bubble up critical, some opportunities, risks, anything urgent that is really needing to be taken care of right then. So then from there, really what we want to end up doing is, start asking questions of our data, right? Being able to really get into the data and understand what's going on. So maybe from a supply chain perspective, I want to understand what's my current inventory position. And so Athena, our AI agent, is going to go in and she's going to pull that information and provide that report in real time for us. And as you can see here, she's pulling the data up, but maybe I want to understand what does this look like across all of my warehouse locations? And as you can see here, I can easily speak right into the computer and it's automatically pulling this data and it's already updating it and pulling the information. Now, maybe I want to go even deeper than this and I want to understand top 5 trending items across these warehouses. And as you can see here, as the data is loading, you can see on the right, it's pulling an AI narrative to explain in each of these circumstances here, what does my warehouse's, inventory look like, but also explaining what are my trending items across that warehouse and why. And then from there, maybe we want to close this conversation and maybe we have another question around, which customers and products drove revenue and sales quality for the last 3 months by month. And as Athena pulls that information, she'll quickly populate it, really kind of giving you that story of, where you can start over or evaluating those overall trends and understanding what's been driving that trend recently. In addition, we could dive a little deeper and say, how did the sales and gross margin perform last week versus the same week last year? And really what this is going to break down for us is it's going to narrow down even further to understand last week the performance and if the material difference, was in a trend on that front. And are there any pivots that we need to make on that front? So all this is really doable and easy for you to access by asking questions right when you come into ConverSight. But I want to take it a step further. We have, where Athena, our AI assistant, has pre-built many dashboards and storyboards, like we like to call it, that are automatically updated, unlike some of the crystal reports that you're used to that can be static. So out the gate, you're going to see that these 16 reports here are all included with our Sage package. So when you sign up and you add the solution, you immediately get all of these reports right out the gate. And one thing I want to point out right as we go in is, for example, executive financial summary. Maybe CEO, CFO, other team members want to come in and understand a little bit of a story or the background of what's going on in the business. Well, the AI assistant is going to go in and going to give you total sales, revenue, year-to-date margin, current inventory, customer by month, even going even further down into it and giving you an AI narrative of maybe there's a significant revenue decline, top customer contributions, and diverse customer base, really giving you that narrative of what's happening here instead of you having to dig through the data to try to understand it. From there, I'm going to jump right into the revenue trend side of things. As you can see here, it's loading up and it's going to present all the revenue that's going on within the business on that side of things. You can really dive into this, drill into the data, really start understanding, the data that you have from Sage, and you're not having to export it and manually manipulate all that information. It's all here at your fingertips. And then lastly, I wanted to show you the inventory details. Inventory details because, for some of our clients, how important it is to understand our current position and really get an expansive view of that. So this is really going to help companies really be able to understand maybe what they have on hand today and break down, any allocated quantities, transit quantities, any sales orders, purchase orders, etc., so that you can keep up with all the information from an inventory perspective right in front of you. From there, I'm going to jump right into what I would think we would want to see is really the forecasting elements of the platform, really giving you the ability to get in here and understand your forecast. And we really start where you are. So typically we like to see about 2 years of, history. But at the end of the day, if you have an Excel spreadsheet or you're just starting out, we'll start working with you to build that forecast and make it simple for you. You can simply create your own forecast or load it in quickly. Or from there, we can select one of these different multiple forecasts and even roll them up from there. As you can see here, I'm going to select on the product monthly forecast here today, just to show you all an example of how we're able to see the overall forecast. Now, this forecast is going to be, brought across 8 different models, and the AI is going to see where it smooths out the line most to make sure that you're ordering properly and you have the best forecast you can. As you can see here, we break it down into ABC segments, forecasting scores to understand the best ones that are scoring. And then we take it a step further to show the model run, whether you ran the model AI side, manual, made an adjustment, or the previous or excluded. And we can also adjust this forecast really simply. So maybe I want to increase this. And all we have to do is hit Save Changes. And as you can see here, it automatically updates and it trickles down the rest of the supply chain. So all this information here gives us a really good understanding of what our next couple of months look like, but we can also dive into each item and understand from here a breakdown of that forecast. So as you can see here, score forecast of 4, 44.6 variance, really breaking down all of the forecast line chart, giving you an AI reason behind why we think this spike is going this way, breaking down some of the stats, the outliers, really giving you that full picture of what we're doing in order to give you that understanding of the forecast and trust it. Now, with all that being said, the next step would be really trying to understand with that forecast, with our inventory, with all the purchases that we have on hand are coming in, what do we need to order, right? What do we need to do to keep up with demand? So with that being said, I want to show you a quick simulation of, bringing all that data together so that we can then understand what it's going to take to purchase and keep up with our current demand. And as you can see here, we have all the items broken down based on what our system has recommended that you need to purchase. And each of these items, you can see here, all of the, minimum order quantities on hand, lead times, safety stock, safety days, really giving you, a good baseline of what you need to order when you need to order and really telling you what it recommends. Now, you can always make adjustments and change the way that this looks on that front. But in order to do that, I would suggest just going ahead and clicking on here, and it's really going to give you the recommendation. It's going to break down why we recommend that you need to order 511 units. And, based on this information, maybe you have some knowledge that there's going to be a spike and you need to increase this so that you can keep up with the demand. But this is going to break it down based on that information. And on top of that, we also have insights that break down why you need to purchase 511 units. So it's really giving you that breakdown of everything you need to understand in order to stay up with your demand. And from there, say I do want to increase this by, another, 10. So maybe I'll do 521 and we'll update that and we could recalculate. So once that recalculates, it would adjust this from here and then we could export and send this into Sage to update our orders and complete those orders without having to go back and forth between the systems. So I just wanted to make sure I touched on these components here. The last thing that I wanted to do was just wrap up a couple slides here. And, the way we typically help customers is we start with a quick win approach. Initially, start out with our quick AI agentic, Athena with the 16 storyboards, giving, users instant access to their dashboards, KPIs, natural language questions against Sage data. So instead of asking IT for reports, users can actually jump in and ask in plain English. After that, you can see where we can also add on the demand planning and the supply planning. So usually we see it in kind of a staged approach to get you guys really bought in on the AI piece. Outside of that, I want to thank you all for your time today. I also want to mention that if you guys book a demo before the 15th of June here, we are also offering a $50 gift card and the first month of your subscription for free. So if you would, select that QR code there and book a demo with us. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Teddy. Awesome. All right, 3 to go. Jamie, are you ready?
Sure am. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And Amy, thank you for putting this together. Let me share my screen here. Okay, so I want to start real quick, give you a quick little, just a little blurb about Lumen and, who we are and what we do. So Lumen
Jamie, you're not sharing, just so you know.
I'm sorry, I got to hit the button here. My fault.
That's okay.
There we go. Should be able to see that now?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, quick little bit about us. So LLuminCMS Plus, a great way to manage your assets, within your facility. We're proud to say that we currently manage more than 1 million assets worldwide right now. Very proud of that. We've got over 40,000 active daily users. We have a pre-built, fully tested Sage integration that is, ready to go. And I'll touch on that a little bit kind of at the end here. And really Lumen is going to be, your out-of-the-box tool for predictive maintenance. So now I'm just going to switch over here and show you a little demo of Lumen. So Where I'll start today is where most of our users kind of begin their day, and that's going to be our homepage dashboards. So Lumen's homepage dashboards are completely configurable and customizable. So each user can set this up so that they're going to see, what they need to see, when they start their day. And this can be also set up based on their role and their priorities. So here I'm logged in as a maintenance supervisor. At the top of my screen here, I've got a number of different KPIs. So I'm seeing things like downed assets, open work orders, overdue work orders. And if you're like me at all and you want to know where you should focus your attention when you're starting your day, we've added some logic behind these. So I'm sure your eyes got drawn right to this one right here. So I've set a rule and said if my overdue work orders exceed 2, I want to highlight that in red. So I know that's where I should be focusing my attention for the day. Down at the bottom here, I've got a bunch of different helpful grids. So these are, a little more informative. They've got, rows and columns here with lots of information. And one of my favorite parts about these is you can do a lot of work right here from your dashboard. So things like, work requests awaiting approval. I can approve them from here, reject them. I can view them or print them. I can assign work orders, to technicians from here. Without ever having to leave this screen. And real quick, before I go any further, I do want to quickly just show you another version of a homepage dashboard. So this is my iPad here logged in, and here I'm logged in as a technician. So same environment, just a little bit of a different look and feel, because oftentimes we find that technicians, they've got one question, and that's what work is assigned to me today. What do I need to get done? So this, very simply lists out the work orders that this technician has to do. And, again, like my dashboard back here, I can do everything like enter time, start a timer, do condition assessments, things like that, all from right here, right on my dashboard. Okay, now bouncing around a little bit here, we'll come back to my supervisor, and I want to go in and we'll take a look at managing our assets within Lumen here. So when we're doing this, so you can make this as completely customizable and configurable as you want, similar to your homepage dashboards here. So if your facility might be like multiple plants or multiple locations, we've got a multi-level hierarchy here that's, again, very customizable, and it can match your exact structure. So like I said, in a situation where you might be like a multi-plant kind of facility, you might start with your top level, which is going to be like a site or a plant here. Then you can dig into things like departments and maybe buildings. Down from there, you can go to production lines, then work cells, all the way down to the asset level itself. And we indicate over here on the left, if you notice these ones with the wrenches here, that's going to indicate that we've got work orders for these particular assets here. And another one of my favorite things here that I want to kind of quickly point out is going to be our facility view. So we have added this facility view to give you a real-time picture of the health of your assets, kind of all in one glance here. So you can upload, a picture or a schematic or a blueprint of your warehouse, attach your assets to it, and then you can see the overall health of those assets. So anything in green, like you can see here, is going to indicate that asset is up and running, operational, no issues. Anything in purple, so like this one here and this one here, is going to indicate that we've got planned maintenance scheduled for those assets. Orange, like these, is going to indicate that we've got an open repair work order. And then anything in red is going to indicate that asset is currently down. These colors can update automatically by things like PMs being scheduled, work orders being logged, or even machine triggers coming from either Sensa data or SCADA input. So let's take a quick look at an asset here. So I'm just going to double click on that, and we'll open up this pump, and we'll just kind of take a look at some of the things that we kind of capture here when we're looking at add an asset in Lumen. Over on the left here, we've got some cards here with some like high level helpful information. And as you navigate through, we track a ton of stuff, things like manufacturer information, financial information and cost of ownership, all the way down to giving you the ability to attach notes and files. So things like pictures or OEM manuals, lockout tagout procedures, all sorts of stuff right here, just, following that asset, and this stuff will go along to the technicians as well. One of my favorite things here in Lumen is going to be the ability to take those real-time updates from those machine sensors and SCADA sensors and create things like we see here, which are condition-based action triggers. So what we've said with this particular pump, we've set up a couple here where one, we've got a temperature and vibration warning and also a low pressure warning. So if we dig into this, what we can see is if the temperature on this pump reaches, higher than 150 degrees, and our vibration is measuring at a rate of higher than 20, that can be a cause for alarm for us on this particular pump. Maybe we've seen, things happen at that case. So we're saying if we get those updates from those sensors, to let us know by notifying a group of 5 technicians via email. So, and we're requiring acknowledgement from them so that they, got that alert. If we don't hear anything within 2 hours, what we're asking the system to do here is notify a group of 3 maintenance supervisors via text message. So that way, nothing is going to fall through the cracks on this. We're going to get, somebody looking at this, very quickly. So what do we want to do once we've met those conditions, we've notified the appropriate people? Typically at that point, we would want to, take action. So in this case, we're telling the system to create a work order. And what we've found out is often if our temperature and our vibration are measuring high like that, it might indicate that it's time to replace the bearings. So, we can attach a procedure here with step-by-step instructions on how to, replace those bearings. This can also be like a checklist steps that our technician has to follow and indicate that they did each of the required steps here, and make sure that we are taking care of that before it ever really becomes an issue. So the great thing here is that we've got automation in place that's going to improve your uptime. It's going to help us predict failures before they can even happen. So moving on, now that we've started getting work orders from our machine conditions here, we'll talk a little bit about scheduling work orders. So we have a work order calendar here that I'll show you. And what this is going to be is just kind of a good list and a good indication of what work you have on any given day. In this case of a month, we could look at 10 days out. We could look at a 7-day week, a work week, all the way down to a specific day here, and just kind of see the different things that we've got scheduled. This is also especially helpful. I can total this out by technician, so I can see how many hours I have scheduled for each person each day. So that way, again, no work is slipping through the cracks. I'm not overloading anybody, and everything that we need to do is getting covered, in a timely manner, and efficiently here. And then the last thing that I want to kind of show you here before I talk a little bit more about the Sage integration is tracking inventory in Lumen. So we've got customers that track all sorts of inventory in Lumen. So you can use Lumen to track all of your maintenance related inventory. So that's going to be things like consumable spare parts, filters, belts, seals, things that you're changing out as part of your, routine PMs. But you can also use Lumen to track any, just maintenance related supplies that you might use. So a lot of our customers are using this to track things like safety glasses, oil and grease, paper towels, really anything that you use in your facility can be tracked, within Lumen here. I'm going to just select an item here and just kind of show you some of the stuff that we track here. I won't dig into everything again because, there is a lot of different things that we do track. But if I'm looking at purchasing, one of my favorite things here is looking at the reordering. So up across the top here, I can see my on hand for this particular belt in each of my stock rooms or plants at this point. So I can see I've got 35 here, 34 in Hartford, 8 in our Worcester plant, and I've got 1 on this service truck as well. But down below here under my reordering, I can see, again, in my Springfield stockroom, I've got 35 on hand, and I've told the system if I get down to 4 on this, it's time to reorder this part. So we typically would want to order this in quantities of 8, and until we get up to a max quantity of 12 of these on hand. So what's going to happen is, as this belt is getting used on things like work orders, it's getting issued out to an asset, things like that. That's going to update your on hand, in real time. And as soon as your inventory hits that reorder point level, it's going to trigger basically a reorder request for this item. So if we look, I've got here a reorder list of all the different things that the system has indicated that I need based on that math and those thresholds. So here I can see, what the item is, how many I should be ordering. I can see my on hand here as well. And I can even see who my preferred vendor is as well over here. So one of my favorite parts about this is I can, select one of these, and up here I can select all of these by vendor. So that's going to select everybody. And if you notice over here, I've got one for my Hartford plant, and the rest of these are for Springfield. I'm going to uncheck that Hartford one, and what that'll allow me to do here is add all of these items to a purchase order. So really, really quick and easy way to order your stuff. That way you are not running out of any of your high need consumable spares before you actually need them, and really you've got a good handle on your inventory. And last thing here I wanted to kind of show you guys is we'll switch back over and I'll show you a slide here. So I want to talk a little bit about our integration with Sage. So the way this works typically is kind of a two-way street. So as vendors get created in Sage, those will get sent over to Lumen automatically. So that's new vendors or vendors that are edited or changed. They might already be existing. Those changes will flow right over into Lumen. Then on the flip side, so once a purchase order gets created in Lumen, that will get sent over to Sage. So that info that gets sent over is going to include things like which vendor it's for, your item descriptions, what GL accounts, the quantities, the price, if there's any miscellaneous fees or freight or tax associated with that as well. And then once your users actually receive that purchase order in Lumen, Lumen's going to then send your PO receipt into Sage as well. So that's going to include, again, date received, all the info from above, which vendor, everything like that, the quantity that you received, and we also support multiple partial receipts. So maybe you're, expecting, multiple deliveries, something was on back order, whatever it might be. We'll send that partial receipt, and then once you get your the rest of it in, Lumen will send the rest of that over as well. That is pretty much everything that I had to show for today. So again, Amy, thank you very much for putting this together, and everybody, thank you for your time. And if anybody has any questions or would like to see a deeper dive into a demo, just let me know, and we'd be happy to do so.
Thank you, Jamie. That was great. We have 2 left. Woohoo! Renee, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Okay.
All right. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Renee Lemura, and I am a senior product solution engineer here with Avalara. So my portion is to talk about how Avalara is natively embedded inside of the Sage portfolio, specifically looking at Sage Intacct, and I'll highlight the different portfolios as well that we pair with. Before I dive in, Amy, can you do a check for me?
I see 2 beautiful kids.
Thank you very much. I shared the wrong screen, so I apologize. Okay, hold on. Where are my screens? Screen number 2. Okay, here we go.
You're ready.
Okay, right screen now. Okay, sorry about that. All right. Just a friendly reminder before we jump in. Obviously, this is strictly for informational purposes as my goal here, and the company is not to provide legal tax advice, but obviously to enlighten and inform everybody of the ever-changing tax that we experience across the United States. and across every single state as well as jurisdictions, both regarding sales as well as consumer use tax. This is Avalara's Safe Harbor Act. If you can just quickly, obviously, take a moment here to just review this. And now to get into the fun. All right. So it's important here to understand. Okay, skip too many slides here. All right, here we go. Sorry, I got too click heavy. All right, so let's quickly take a look for those of you that may not know about Avalara and how and why we exist today, right? So Avalara here, we were born in the cloud. We were founded in 2004. And our goal here was to provide automation. So to take a complex world of tax and embed it to facilitate inside of customers like yourselves, ERP systems, to help facilitate the ever-changing tax complexities, not only inside of the United States, but as you can see globally. Okay, so a little bit more of some statistics here. When we talk about Avalara, it is an entire compliance suite. So not only can we assist you from calculations and tax calculations, but we also can facilitate and assist you with exempt certificates, okay? As you can see right here, we, meaning Avalara, have more than 51 million documents, okay? Managed by Avalara in 2024 just by itself. Furthermore, you can see here, we have over 1,400 partner integrations. So you name it, we can connect to it. If we don't have a pre-built integration, that doesn't mean we cannot connect because we are built on an open API platform because we were founded and continue to be inside of the cloud. This here always is mind-boggling because we provide tax determination back in milliseconds, okay? And so when you look at that number, there's nearly 50 billion AvaTax API calls made by customers just in 2024. So what does that show you? That shows you that how our infrastructure is built. We exist in all servers, okay, in all the warehouses. If there's any issues in downtime, our traffic gets automatically routed. So why is this all important? Because without the tax solution, risk is on the table. And we can't have that down. We can't impact our customers. We're here to provide tax accurately. We're here to assist you with documentation to provide when and if you're audited. And also, when you look at this here, processing of returns, once again, 6 million returns in 2024. There is no downtime in our infrastructure because our goal to you guys is we are embedded in your solutions to help reduce risk, increase compliance, and everything for Avalara is actually audit defensible. Now, last but not least, you can see the number of customers that we serve, and this is globally. Okay, so we are a global solution here for you guys to focus and know that there's accuracy in multiple areas of multiple transactions. And before I even take a step further, I want to pause here and have you guys think of the analogy. Think of Avalara as the center of a Ferris wheel, and anywhere and in which inside of your workflow where you may need tax determination, that is where Avalara can play. So no matter how many different workflows you have, how many different solutions you have this capability to be an automated, increased agentic platform. As we continue along, the world of tax is not getting any easier. It continues to get harder and harder and harder, okay? And now the best thing to think about is it's no longer just a tax team problem. I was a previous tax accountant, so that was always an area. It's the tax team's problem. No, unfortunately now it is an entire financial operational problem when things start to go south. Now, why might they go south? Well, as you can see right here, right? Managing growth. I talk to customers day in and day out, and that is one of the things that is troublesome for them is managing growth. They can't keep up with the ever demand because they have to focus on operational growth. The other thing, digitizing of accounting, live reporting, artificial intelligence, machine learning, okay? We are the automated solution. We are a tool that fits inside of your accounting platform or any ERP, e-commerce platform out there to facilitate the ever world of complexity in a simplified manner, knowing that we have the content, we have the legislation, we know how to get it right. Now it allows for you guys to have your workflows be derived in a more efficient manner, still getting to the end result. What happens when there's changing regulations? Okay, what happens when there's the government action? People are coming to us more and more and more and more because of not only just economic nexus, but now there's a lot more physical presence in states. We have to account for 1099 folks. We have to account for W-2 folks that may be out in the field. Anytime you're out in a field, anytime you're allowing for sales to take place, we have to be mindful of this. But this is something that as a business, it's very easy to lose sight of. But with Avalara, when you tell us the states that you're registered in, if you have questions about have I hit that nexus obligation, whether it's both physical or economic, that's where we have tools put into play inside of the Avalara portfolio to assist you for whatever the reasons might be. Okay. Now, when we look at this, okay, what's important here to understand is around how does technology help you here? Okay. Why is Avalara important? Well, a lot of the ERP systems are built to only accommodate a certain portion of a business, right? Inside a lot of ERPs, there are things called, they have native sales tax functionality. That's great, but it's very limited, okay? A lot of solutions that I speak to today do not have embedded exempt certificate management capability. More importantly, we have to factor in consumer use tax. We have to look at the entire architecture of a business. A business doesn't exist without customers. Well, a business also doesn't exist without their vendors. And when they're purchasing things and potentially reselling them and or drop shipping them, all of these are triggers that go into the world of tax. Okay. I am passionate about tax. I am a unique breed of tax. And that's my goal here, is to let you guys know, not only is it inside the US, but as you could see here, when we have cross-border implications, okay, more and more of the countries, we have to think about electronic submission, okay, and live reporting. These are all things that the mandates are continuously changing on. So how do we keep up with a solution that can handle that? And that's Avalara. Now, when we further take a look into this, okay, what are the different types of products and services? This here is when we are looking at the core solution of Avalara. There's a bigger footprint, but at the core, that is what we're going to be focusing in on. And that's the goal of today's presentation. What is that core? Well, we're here to help you with calculating every single line of tax on a quote, on an order, on an invoice. But more importantly, right, what about on the purchasing side? If we tackle the sales side, we can't leave the purchasing side left open. And that's where we have to look at, okay, well, our purchases with our customers. Did our vendors charge us the right tax? Did they not charge us the right tax? Okay, so did they underestimate? Did they not charge tax at all? Okay, we have to account for all of that. What is your engagement with your customers? Did you send them exempt certificates? Did your customers send you exempt certificates? And last but not least, you have to be able to compile all that data to understand what exactly is due this month, this quarter, this year on the returns. And that is a lot of upkeep to do, so push it to Avalara. As we take a look here, this is the goal of what Avalara can bring, and specifically inside of the Sage portfolio. As we exist out there, there's a world of over 1,400 integrations, and we are happy to assist with any further demonstrations or anything like that with tax. But take this as a takeaway. What is the goal we could bring to you? Okay, We integrate seamlessly. We help drive efficiencies because you're not having to go back and continuously guess and continuously modify anytime there's changes, when there's rate changes, when there's mandates, legislative mandates, okay? These can occur every month. These could occur mid-month. These could occur at the end of the year. If you're not on top of it, you are either overcharging your customers, overpaying a state, undercharging your customers, underpaying a state. This helps you to stay compliant. It helps to reduce risk. And last but not least, it's scalable. As your business grows on an ERP solution, Avalara is here to grow along with you. Now, I just wanted to take a quick look, very high level, inside of Sage. Okay, this is the Sage Intacct platform specifically, but we do integrate with Sage 100, Sage 300, Sage 50, X3. This one specifically is Intacct because obviously of the direction and the automation. So how do we integrate today? Well, we integrate at the quote, at the order, at the invoice level inside of order entry. But not only that, there has been a push out now of the purchasing side inside of Sage Intacct. So when you guys put in your payables, you will be notified and understand exactly how much did that vendor charge you the correct amount. Did they undercharge you? Did they overcharge you? Okay. If they undercharge you, it's an accrual, an additional amount that has to be accrued for on your returns. And that is all flowing into Avalara on the back end. Okay. I just wanted to high level take a quick look here at the end goal of an actual invoice to show you the column of tax, and then I will pass it right back over to Amy. When we go ahead and look at this, this is the power upon setup of Avalara, but we will, at every single line level, we will determine a quote, an order, sales order, and an invoice, but we have tax. As you can see here, I've gone ahead and showed you and built out an actual widget, okay, a part that you sell, as well as software as a service. Over here is that embedded rate, that is the call to Avalara, and then Avalara will tell you the tax by line item, by ship to, and down below here is the actual breakout based on the rate, okay? You can further drill in, but you will see by jurisdiction the actual tax amounts, and that is what is going to be pushed into Avalara for tax reporting purposes. And last but not least, what is to come with Sage Intacct specifically is on the exempt certificates, okay? That is on the portfolio plan and roadmap for that to be embedded features, but just know you would handle Avalara's exempt certificates, your customer certificates inside the Avalara portal, and inside of Avalara, you will go ahead and help review and facilitate the executions of the returns. Any further questions or things like that, please put them in the chat and post this. We can always set up further demonstrations and things like that directly with Avalara. So thank you for your time today. And Amy, back over to you.
Thank you so much, Renee. All right, last but not least, we have Allison wrapping up Sage Demo Day. Are you ready, Allison, to bring us all back?
I'm ready. Thank you, Amy. All right, I'll go ahead and share.
All right. You are ready to go.
Okay, thanks. Well, I'm Allison Wallace. I'm here representing Flywire. We have an integration between our invoicing software, Invoice, with Sage Intacct. We integrate with many platforms, but Intacct has always been one of my favorites. A bit about me, I previously led our technical support team for about 5 years before moving over to implementation this past fall. So I've been working with our software for a long time. I know it inside and out, and also our integrations. So Invoice has always specialized in accounts receivable specifically. We have a lot of features to automate workflows and just really save AR teams a meaningful amount of time. It's always been really rewarding to work with clients, across many different industries, just to help solve business problems with our tools. It's a really robust platform We can we have payment plans, subscriptions, many different integrations, and open API. So if we don't already have a pre-built integration, we can connect pretty quickly and easily. We're part of Flywire, which is a publicly traded global payments company built to solve complex payment problems. So we, bill in 240 plus countries, many currencies. We can, payers can pay in the invoice currency or their local currency with local options. We can settle in many different currencies. We can create very complex logic to determine how payments should be settled. And then all of that data syncs seamlessly between our platform and Sage Intacct or any other integrations you have. So it's really easy to use, user-friendly, automated solution that really helps clients save time. So I mentioned that our integration with Intacct is one of my favorites because it's been thoroughly tested with high volume, complex workflows. We can connect at the top level or the entity level, or even if we connect at the top, we can filter. So if you have 2 entities you want to sync, but not your third or fourth, we can do that. We can map many fields. We can pull in the bill to contacts. We can change the customer source, parent-child syncing. I mean, you name it. I've probably heard it from a client at one point. So it's been thoroughly tested, and it's a really sturdy integration and a good way to automate the collection process. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into a live demo. So I mentioned that we can sync in both directions. Starting out, I'm going to go ahead and create an invoice in Sage. Oh, didn't mean to click that. So when we're using the platform this way, we can sync data. The process runs hourly. So today I'm going to just go click a button and pull that invoice in. But users don't really have to do that. It'll just come over seamlessly. While we wait for that to run, I'll give you a quick tour of Invoiced. This is our dashboard that's pulling in, all historical data to show you some meaningful metrics here. We have many pre-built reports, and then this activity log shows you what's going on in the account. So if I refresh, I should see that invoice. There it is. So that came over, and I've got my settings enabled to pull the PDF from Intacct. So we can see this is sort of generic, but if clients already have a PDF they like or complex logic in their template, we can just pull it in. We don't have to repeat that in our system, so it makes it really easy. When that invoice comes over, it's automatically emailed to the client, assuming their email address is on the customer record. So when they get the invoice, it has a button that takes them straight into our customer portal. So here, same thing, they can download that PDF originally generated in Intacct. They can, view line items. They can communicate with, the vendor they're working with. You in this scenario. It's all here for them to see. They can also access historical data, so previous invoices, payments, credit notes. They can generate a statement. They can update their own billing information. So the idea is we're trying to reduce the number of calls and emails to your AR team, just making it self-serve, easy to use, user-friendly, as convenient as possible for them to pay. They can save a payment method. I'll go ahead and pay a couple of these. So this is Flywire's checkout solution. You'll see in just a moment. Depending on the contract and how we've configured it on our side, different payment options, different currencies will be presented here to make it really easy and convenient for payers to pay. If I go back into invoiced, now you can see this is the payment I just submitted. And if I refresh, it's taking a moment, but this payment will sync back to Intact in real time. Let's try one more time. Not yet. Once it syncs, there's a sync status box that will pop up. And that indicates if it syncs successfully, and if it's errored for some reason, you'll see that here as well. But let's imagine, your payer did not pay on time. They logged in and had some issue with their invoice. Maybe they sent you a message about it, lost track. So we have many solutions to, remind them automatically. So no more, manual emails. You don't have to do that. We can create tasks internally. We can send texts, and part of that chasing cadence just to follow up with them without having to, a human to go do those manual tasks. We also have, a bank feed tool. So if you connect your bank account, we have automatic cash application, and that posts back to Sage automatically as well. We have a subscription feature. So in this case, if you wanted to take advantage of this, your workflow would be the opposite direction. So the subscription would generate invoices and invoiced and post to Sage instead of the other way around. We integrate with Avalara actually. So if you could connect to Sage and pull in from it to invoice, or connect our platform to Avalara and push to Sage. So either way works depending on the unique use case business needs. And then when an invoice is created, like I said, it's automatically emailed to the client. So it's all in one place, really user-friendly, streamlined, automated platform. One feature I'll show you that is one of my favorites and really helps us out in implementation. Maybe not that flashy to see, but this is our initial data sync tool. So we can pull in batches of data from Sage really quickly and easily. So it makes onboarding just like so seamless. With some of our other integrations, we sometimes have to mess with a spreadsheet importer or find another solution to pull in the historical data. But with Intact, it's so easy and straightforward. So typically during implementation, we start out setting up payment processing. We'll do some testing and training in Sandbox. But once we're ready to move over to production, it's really a quick and easy setup, partially because of this tool. You can also configure the integration here and choose your data flow, which transaction definitions should come in. There's that import PDF setting. This determines where payments are posted. You can set this by the payment method. There's also, so in this case, I'm connected at the entity level. You can see here, this is my 300 entity, my Asia entity in Sage. But if I were connected at the top level, there would be options for me to choose, which entity to post the payment if I need that, or whenever you configure the integration, there's many different ways to set it up to accommodate all the different use cases. We can pull in projects, we can change the customer source, custom fields, filtering. It's really flexible and easy to use, and also just reliable. We've tested it a lot over the years with high volume clients, and we've made improvements. So it's really reliable and user friendly. I'll show you a bit of our reports. So these, standard aging reports. We have a customer portal adoption. This shows, like who's logging in, are they actually engaging with the platform? Let's see, do I have payment statistics is useful. Just fun charts, all like pre-built into the application to help you, improve these metrics. Ultimately, the goal is to get that time to pay and DSO down and keep track of your AR balance. We also have tools to go back here. Tools to make it easy for users to keep track of, their own clients. So if you, for example, you can set the owner on a customer and then use that to configure permission settings. So if I'm, a sales rep or whoever, if I have specific clients assigned to me, we can, customize it so I can only view those. I can only see reports for my own clients. So it's really tailored to my needs as an AR rep. There's a lot of customization options, and it's all really easy, user-friendly. Like I said, well tested. So that's about all I have for today. I'll go ahead and stop sharing and hand it back over to you, Amy.
All right. Thank you so much, Allison. And that is a wrap on Sage Demo Day. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us, seeing all these amazing solutions that integrate with Sage. And just so you know, we will have some more Sage-focused events during the rest of the year. So stay tuned for an invite for that. We'll have some industry-specific ones for Sage as well. So excited to see you all there and excited that you joined us today. And thank you to all of our presenters and our Sage Solutions lineup. And thank you, everyone, for being here. We truly do appreciate it. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.